All our times have come. Here, but now they're gone. Seasons don't fear the reaper, nor do the wind or the sun or the rain. We can be like they are. Come on, baby, don't fear the reaper. Baby, take my hand. Don't fear the reaper. You'll be able to fly. Valentine is done. Here, but now they're gone. Romeo and Juliet are together in eternity. Romeo and Juliet, and women every day. And Juliet, and women every day. Like they are. Come on, baby, don't fear the reaper. Baby, take my hand. Don't fear the reaper. You'll be able to fly. Don't fear the reaper. Baby, I'm your man. La 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 la. La 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 la.
Hey, good afternoon to my beautiful crime family. Yeah, and a beautiful day out, kind of hot. What is the temperature out here today anyway? 86 and climbing. Yeah, well, hey, I'm doing an early show today. Sometimes you just watch things and it's like, man, shit ain't just ain't right. Just ain't right. And then new stuff that you see and you want to show. And that's what I'm doing today. But let's say hi to the beautiful crime family. Gemini 65, good to see you. Debbie Gazzardo, my girl, good to see you. Colder Cover, good to see you. Leslie, good to see you. Hope Norris, good to see you. Teresa, good to see you. Michael from England, good to see you. Christina, good to see you. Allison Wonderland, good to see you. Jody, good to see you. Supero, good to see you. Kim B, good to see you. And everybody chatting up there. I know it's an early show. Colder Cupboard, good to see you. Only in Detroit, good to see you. Karen Ball, good to see you. Angela, good to see you. Yes, I'm feeling better. Thank you. Hope Norris, good to see you. Yeah. Anyway, so let's get to this show because there's some Simply Solo, good to see you. Michael 007, Cowgirl, good to see you. Hope Floats, good to see you, my girl. And Deborah Ackland, my girl, good to see you. Anyway, so let's get to this. First of all, we're going to get into something that isn't on the title. I don't think I did anyway. Can't even remember what I titled this. But one of our friends put out a video today, and I haven't had her on in a while, and maybe it's about time I have her back on again. And that's Yoli. Yoli, our lawyer friend. She is a civil lawyer though, but she does know a lot of stuff, and so she came out with a video today that's pretty good, and that's what we're going to start with. And let me do this. Let me do this. Stage. There we go. And I'm hoping I really need a new computer, and I have to apologize you know, on some of the shows that come out. And I have a, hi, Alec, good to see you. I have a hard time. People think I'm delaying on stuff and I'm unorganized and stuff. That's because I'm having hard times in the back with the computer. I really need a new computer. I just cannot afford one right now. Not the one I want to get anyway. But anyway, so let's get to this and see what Yoli has to say about appeal issues in the Brian Koberger case. Now, in today's show, I have all the links in the description that I'm going to be using, unless we, you know, wander off that, which we sometimes do. But this is Yola. Okay, for anybody that doesn't know, she's only got 1.1 thousand subscribers, and this, you know, 13 hours ago, she's only got 596 views. I'd like to get that up there. She does come up with some good videos on the case. So if you don't have her in your repertoire, it'd be good if you added her. Anyway, let's take a listen.
Hi, everybody. It's Yoli Medina, and I'm going to be talking about the Koberger case. And this is a case where Brian Koberger pled guilty to the unalivings of 4 students. They were students at the University of Idaho, and they lived in a home that was close to the University of Idaho. It was a private rental home. So Brian Koberger pled guilty, and he waived his ability to appeal. And it turns out that waiving your appeal rights doesn't really mean waiving your appeal rights. So there are certain things that Brian Koberger can appeal, and the judge, who is Judge Hippler, made that a point at the sentencing hearing, which probably confused everybody. And so from a civil standpoint, because I practice civil law,
so last night he used him. Honestly, nothing better than when a guy.
I understand the point that anybody can file a notice of appeal. And so a notice of appeal is different from the opening brief on appeal. So regardless of what kind of plea agreement the defendant had, the defendant has a right to file a notice of appeal. And that is a document that is filed and puts the lower court, meaning Judge Hippler's court, on notice that there's going to be an appeal. And it puts the appellate court on notice that there's going to be an appeal. That is not the opening brief. It's not anything like that. And the court clerk, the appellate court clerk, cannot reject that notice of appeal. So keep in mind that if a notice of appeal is filed on behalf of...
Okay, so I'm running this so we can have a little better understanding of the appeal process on this. And then we'll talk about it a little bit also.
Brian Koberger, that doesn't mean that an appeal was actually filed. So after the notice of appeal is filed, and I believe Brian Koberger has 42 days from the date of the judgment was entered to file a notice of appeal. So then the next step is the appellate brief. So Brian Koberger can put all the bases for his appeal in the opening appellate brief, but that doesn't mean that it's going to go anywhere, because the prosecution will bring to light that there was a plea agreement where he waived appeals. Now, there is the Garza case that is on point in Idaho. And that means that if Brian Koberger asks his defense attorney to file a notice of appeal and she does not, then that automatically deems his counsel as ineffective assistance of counsel. That was the issue there. However, there are certain things that can be appealed, and they're very narrow. That's my understanding. But there are a lot of criminal defense attorneys who have put out their thoughts on whether or not Brian Coberger can appeal and what the likelihood is of success. So the notice of appeal does not mean that an appeal, the appellate brief, was actually filed. So just keep that in mind. That's the best I can say. A notice of appeal is filed, and then you wait for the appellate brief. And then you see the basis for which the appeal is based on. Now, in the Coberger case, there are some unique things with this case. One is that there is an investigation into the leaks which led to the Dateline episode, which contained erroneous information. It contained accurate information, but it also contained erroneous information. And the prosecutor, Bill Thompson, and the other prosecutors who assisted in the case said that there were erroneous things in the Dateline episode, which could have affected the outcome of the case. Now, that's one specific unique thing to this Brian Coberger case. The other thing, and actually, the Idaho Statesman has produced an article, and I'll try to link it to the in the description box what that article was about, but it was about the leak and that there is a special prosecutor assigned to investigate the case. It's confidential unless somebody is charged with the crime of violating a court order, then we will know about it. If there isn't anybody charged, then we won't know about it, which is.
And how much you want to bet they're not going to find anything on that investigation, because we know it was either the prosecution, or one of the families, and there's not going to be any charges. I don't expect anything out of that investigation. I think it's just a ruse, just a formality, and they're just going to go through it. No, we can't find the leak or whatever. I mean, it's it's bullshit. Let's just keep going.
I don't know. But in any event, the other issue is that Brian Coberger has been diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder, obsessive compulsive disorder, and some kind of neurological movement disorder, coordination disorder. Now, this is in the record, the court record. And one of the problems in this case was that the judge would seal the evidence attached to motions, but wouldn't seal the motion itself. So some of the information that was attached, that was sealed, trickled into the motion, because after all, you're arguing evidence, which is attached to the motion. But that's a problem I've always had, is that it's half and half. It's like in some of the motions, the evidence would be
Eve to me is basically freedom. It's a giant open universe where you can do
people testifying, and that would be sealed. But then the actual argument on the motion would be open to the public. And so how do you argue facts that are sealed when you're arguing in a public hearing? And in those types of situations, I find it prejudicial both for the prosecution and the defense. So when Ann Taylor filed her motion regarding Brian Coberger's diagnoses and how she wanted to be able to instruct the jury that Brian Coberger had autism and he had a straight, cold, non-expressive type of face, the judge denied it because the jury is only supposed to take into consideration what comes from the witness stand. Now, if Brian Koberger was a witness and decided to testify, then she could bring that instruction in. But if he's sitting at the counsel table, there is no law. There's nothing that would allow the judge to allow Ms. Taylor, his defense counsel, to instruct the jury that he has this, stone cold face and it's part of his autism spectrum. So in any event, so the issues I have is whether or not the judge should have addressed his disabilities and his psychiatric disorder at the plea hearing. So when Hippler, he asked Brian Koberger whether or not, he asked him, are you of sound mind? And Brian Koberger said yes. So that may encompass part of it, but I am just thinking to myself, did the judge have a further obligation, since there was evidence in the record from mental health professionals who had diagnosed Brian Koberger as being on the autism spectrum disorder, having obsessive compulsive disorder, and some kind of neurological coordination disorder. So
to me, that's a big boom that could come back to haunt them. The spectrum, the coordination disorder. How can you have a coordination? Look it up. Look it up. Look up coordination disorder. It makes you clumsy. And what did I say? Like a long time ago, towards the beginning, not long after Koberger was arrested, I was saying he looks too clumsy. He's not athletic, and the Dylan said he was athletically built. So Koberger, and I said way long time ago, Koberger is not athletically built. I'm an athlete. I know these things. I can look at him and tell he's clumsy as fuck. This could come back to haunt him. That whole thing, the whole spectrum thing, can come back to haunt him. Especially the coordination thing. I don't think people are paying enough attention to this coordination thing, because it takes coordination to be able to go into a house and do a quadruple red drum with a knife. That takes coordination. So I think that's going to come back. That can, and people just kind of blow by that. They just kind of blow by that. I don't think it's anything to blow by, because look it up. It affects your coordination to do things. It makes you, and they use the word clumsy. Yeah, and plus, exactly, Moonlight, he's not strong enough either. I don't think he's strong enough to take out 4 people. Not with Ethan. Not with Ethan there. So, I mean, I really think that the coordination disorder is a huge, huge thing. And we do have to start asking ourselves, and we have asked ourselves, why did Ann Taylor allow Koberger, right, to plead guilty? Well, that might be that there might be a reason for that. And let's keep going.
I question whether the judge has had an obligation to ask Brian Koberger, are you aware that you've been diagnosed with such and such? And Brian Koberger would say yes, hopefully. And then the judge would ask, are these diagnoses in any way affecting your ability
I started Tai Chi at 50. Now I'm 68, and doctors ask.
Or affecting your decision to plead guilty in this case? And I would like to know the answer to that, because obsessive compulsive disorder is an anxiety disorder. They have intrusive thoughts, compulsive behaviors, and in reading the documents that have just been released by the Idaho Police Department, one of the interviews with one of the people who were housed with Brian Koberger in the cell next to him was annoyed. He said the only thing that was annoying was Brian Koberger's habits. He would wash his hands like dozens of times a day, take long showers. Well, those are...
Okay, so you got Mama Electric Mama or Green Electric Mama blog saying it affects your coordination and muscle strength. I have it. I can't even get a jar of pasta sauce open without using a special tool, and sometimes I can't even get it open with that. And the thing is, it's a coordination disorder. There's no way in hell a man with a coordination disorder that, and if you look it up, makes you clumsy, can go into a place and run on poor people. I'm sorry. This could come back to haunt them.
Indicative of obsessive compulsive disorder. And these people who have obsessive compulsive disorder, they need certainty. That they can't handle uncertainty. And so it could possibly have some kind of effect on his pleading guilty, just to relieve the anxiety, because obsessive compulsive disorder is an anxiety disorder. So those are the things that I question, and I try to ask these things when certain channels have criminal defense attorneys on their panel, and I try to ask about the OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, because people focus on the autism spectrum disorder and they say it's not an intellectual disorder, it's a social disorder, and I agree. Brian Koberger had a social disorder. He was awkward. But the obsessive compulsive disorder is a psychiatric disorder. And it seems to me, well, strike that. I just heard Nancy Grace having a mental health professional on the show that said, yeah, Brian Koberger is going to suffer because he sounds like he has obsessive compulsive disorder. Well, he does have obsessive compulsive disorder, and it's in the court record. So she said, but they'll medicate him. Well, not necessarily. He can refuse medication. And based on what the prisoner that was next to Brian Koberger that said he was constantly washing his hands, it sounds like Brian Koberger is not medicated. He can refuse medication. So whether or not that should have been asked by the Judge Hippler about whether or not that would affecting his decision to plead guilty, whether or not that should have been asked, I don't know. But it is a psychiatric disorder, and it is in the court record. Whether you believe he has that or not, it's in the court record. It's evidence in the court record. So
I don't think anybody would question if he's got OCD. The guy washes his hands constantly. He wore gloves everywhere. He wouldn't eat any meat he wouldn't eat anything out of a pan that cooked meat in it. He made them buy new pans. I mean, the guy has OCD, and I don't think anybody will challenge that. And if they do, they'd be really stupid to do that, because I'm sure there is proof of that. And so here you got a guy who's got a coordination disorder, and he's got OCD. He's in the autism spectrum. That's crazy, people. That is Yeah, it's OCD to the extreme. Exactly, social. That to me is fucking crazy.
So those are my thoughts on what's happening here. And I think that Brian Koberger certainly has a right to appeal, and the notice of appeal could be filed, but that doesn't mean that he's going to win it. And I know one thing for sure is that he can file a notice of appeal and an appellate brief based on ineffective assistance of counsel. There are other things that are unique to this case. Like I said, there's a special investigation going on regarding the leak to Dateline. There's also the fact that he's been diagnosed with certain disorders, and those were not addressed at the sentencing hearing or the plea agreement hearing. And so those are things that I have questions about. So to answer your question, yes, Brian Koberger can appeal. He can file a notice of appeal. He can file an appellate brief, but it depends on what his appellate brief is based on, whether or not the court will hear it. And the chances are slim, but not impossible. But that's
Okay, so you're hearing that the chances are slim, but not impossible. They're taking, if this was a ploy, let's say this was a ploy by Anne, and what I'm going to tell you what I think she might be doing, and actually we can end this video right here. Actually, let's listen to a little bit and see where she's at here.
my understanding. So in any event, let me know what you think, and I hope I helped in trying to understand this appeal thing.
Okay, so here's what could be going on. There is one way, and it's the defense, his counsel was ineffective, right? Now, when he files an appeal, if she doesn't answer to this, if she doesn't answer, like almost like she has quit being his lawyer, if she doesn't help him file this appeal, that's enough right there to get that passed. Is that what she's trying? Is that what she's doing? Does he have another lawyer lined up? Is he getting ready to go with another lawyer? And was she being good about it because she believes that he is 100% innocent? Is she not going to help him file the appeal? She was busy. She took on another case, another death penalty case. But is she did she do this as kind of a favor? And maybe even helped him get another lawyer? Because I'll tell you what, Hitler, she might have thought this. Check this out. She might have thought this. He's never going to give Ann Taylor a chance. Why? Because she's from Idaho, number one. Number two, she's a public defender in the Idaho state system. Will he ever give her respect that she deserves? Because he's never shown 1 ounce of respect for Ann Taylor. Not 1 ounce of respect. It depends on who the new lawyer is, Christina. It really depends, because Hitler might not be intimidated by Ann Taylor, but I'll tell you what, if someone comes in that is well known, and is a man, do you think that he's going to, because you know what? The thing is, he was intimidating Ann Taylor. I have a feeling Mr. Hitler doesn't have any fucking respect for women. Number one, no respect, none. I'll tell you what, if a man goes in there, that's what a well-known lawyer throughout the United States, I guarantee you Hitler won't be pushing him around like he did Ann Taylor. Yeah, but she started her own practice, but she's still part of the public defender system. She still gets paid through the public defender system. So that's what I got on her and the appeal process. I think, I said, was this a ploy before? Well, I figured out, maybe this is what the ploy is. That she figured that she cannot do anything in Hitler's court. And he was not intimidated by her whatsoever. And you need a lawyer that puts a little of intimidation into that fucking judge that in my book is a piece of shit. Remember my little guy? Remember my little baby guy? Yeah. I got to play it once a day, right? When I heard this and Twat messaged me saying they blocked her, they sealed their phone record, I'm going, what the F? Come on. Unbelievable. So what's next? What's next at Mr. Hitler? Hitler, you're a piece of shit, dude. You're a piece of shit. Retire. You're a piece of shit in my book, man.
You think we both?
When I heard this and Twat messaged me saying they blocked her, they sealed their phone record, I'm going, what the F? Come on. I gotta show that once a day. And I'll tell you what, he is a piece of shit. He never gave her respect. I don't think he respects women. I wonder how he treats his wife. I'd like to know how he treats his wife. I bet you he makes her treat him like he's a god. You know what I'm saying? He's one of those type of guys. He looks like it, he talks like it, he acts like it. If it looks and quacks like a duck, it's a fucking duck. He's a piece of shit. Never gave her 1 ounce of respect. So what's going to happen? If she doesn't file that appeal and he has to file it, that's the angle they're going to go is that Ann Taylor wasn't good enough counsel. Do I think that she wasn't good enough counsel? No, I think the judge was a piece of shit. That's my opinion. Exactly. Oh, no shit, Coco. No shit. Feel like after almost 3 years, this is the beginning. Yeah, he should retire. Maybe he heard my little guy. Okay, let's move on from that. So anyway, that's what I think. I said there could be a ploy in earlier videos, earlier shows, and that might be the ploy, is that she's not going to file that appeal, and it's going to be ineffective counsel, and then they have to listen. Then they have to listen to it. But Yoli said, chances are it's not going to fly. But I think it really depends on if he gets another. Now, we sent the thing, Moonflower and I sent an email to a very well-known, nationally known law firm, like 2 years ago or a year and a half ago or something. And they were very interested in the case. But they said they could not approach Brian Koberger, that he had to approach them. And I sent Brian an email with all the information and who it was, and told him he should put this gentleman on the team. Now, if he's looked at that further, I don't know. But it's a huge law firm that's nationally known. And the main dude has never lost a case. Put it that way. Has never lost a case. In like well over 30 years. What are you talking about, Dogbone? What are you talking about? What's the title? Do I got question marks under anything? And I'm not done with the video, so how do you know that's false info? Twizzle! Oh, is it? Oh, God. I should have known. I should have fucking known. Dogbone is Jeff H. Can you imagine? He's still trying. Oh, my God. Jeff H. There's another piece of shit. Go. You know what, dude? Go to Hippler's. Go to Hippler's and suck his lollipop. Jeff H. Go to goodbye. There, he's gone. Can't believe that, dude. Twizzle said Dogbone is Jeff H. Right, criminal. He can go suck fucking Hitler's lollipop. Okay, so let's go move on with the show, though, because we do got a lot to go through. Let's see. I didn't want. Yeah, this this one, I think. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to let this load up here first. Okay. So here we go again on another one. And we're going back to Ted. Now, Ted, people in the comments, I do have his link in the description today. And it's Mr. Manhattan. For those of you that are having a problem, because I seen in the comments that they were having problems, and I was on the TV and I couldn't answer back. I couldn't leave the link. But the name of the channel is Ted space E space D space. It's not just Ted. It's Ted with letters with the spaces in between. But the actual name of the channel is Mr. Manhattan. And so anyway, let's take a look at this because he came out with a good one again. And this one, folks, this one we need to keep. I got to blow it up because we got to look at something that we missed. There's another scrubbing on that Dateline video. There's another scrubbing we missed. How do they get away with this shit? How do they get away with this shit? Watch this. Actually, I want to see if you guys catch it. Alec. Yuck, that'd be gross. Okay, Debbie posted Ted's link there. It's Mr. Manhattan, actually. So, anyway, I want to ask you if, or not ask you, but I want to ask you to watch this and watch it closely and tell me if you catch this scrub. See if anybody caught that. I'm going to look at it one more time here, I do believe. Watch this, people. Watch this. You see that, people? Did you see that? You see that, people? I mean, it wasn't even a good job of scrubbing. Let's look at this again. Watch this shit. Watch right in here. He even puts a little highlight on it. There's somebody walking across the street, people. And then it just disappears. Look at him. Then it just disappears. Watch. Watch right there. He disappears. Watch him. He's going across the street and then disappears. Let's look at that one more time. see. How do I do that here now? There we go. Lots of shit. Someone will be walking right across the street. There he is. There he is, right there. Watch, he's going to head across the street and then disappears. And then it blinks and there's a minute cut out. Now, I don't know if Ted did that or not, but there is somebody walking across the frickin' street. And they talk about witnesses. They talk about witnesses. They talk about witnesses of the car. They don't want to tell about that witness. You know why? Because it was probably the DoorDash driver. That or the police car. One of the two. Not Brian Kohlberger's car. And what have I already shown you? I've already shown you they scrubbed the whole side of the car and the wheels. They've scrubbed the car and the wheels. There was a man walking across the street. There's 4 people up in that window. So there's 6 people. There's 4 in one window and 2 in another after 3:38 in the morning when they were going by. There's 6 witnesses. There's a man walking across the street right before that car comes. There's another witness. So there's 7 witnesses to that car. Exactly, Kate. So that makes 8 witnesses to that car. Where are those 8 people? Where are those 8 people? Let's keep this going. Now he does something to the lights. That's it up. You can see that back. That's not even oh my God, look at that. That's not even an Elantra at all. Look at the back end of that car. When he does this with the lights. Wait a minute here. Let me show you. He's gonna stop it. And he's going to do something with the lights here. And you can look at this back end. Look at that back end, people. Look at where the taillights are. That's why they're making them so bright. Look at where the taillights are. That's not an Elantra. Yeah, and then they scrubbed the whole side of the car. They scrubbed the wheels so you can't see the wheels. Listen to the dog barking. That's at 417. People screaming, hollering. So that is Ted again. That's Ted, Mr. Manhattan. It's a great video. He's got a great channel. I highly recommend you subscribe to him. I guess he's on TikTok too and does a lot of TikTok videos. So yeah, make sure you like that up. But isn't that something? Here you got 8 people I've counted that seen, and I'm saying those cars because I think there's 2 different cars. I think there's the DoorDash driver, and then there's the hybrid police car. Definitely not Brian Kohlberger's car. And there's 8 witnesses to this that they didn't bring up in court whatsoever. They did not mention those witnesses whatsoever. 8 of them. 6 in the window, 1 coming out of the house, and 1 walking across the goddamn street. Oh, excuse my language. Crazy shit, people. Crazy shit. Okay, let's move on here. Okay, here's another thing I need to show today. And let me bring it up here. Just about there. Okay, so I'm going to show. I haven't showed her for a while, but she's got a good smoking one today, and that's our friend Bubbly Waters. And you got to look at this. Look at that, people. Look at that right there. Look at that. Look at this right here. Who is that, people? Who is that? And right here. Looks like Bethany and JD to me.
Still. Was this a plan? Is this like actually a plan? Are they planning something right now? So freaky. Dang.
Check that out, people. What do you think? What do you think? I want your opinions. Want your opinions. That's who it looks like to me, social. Now, was JD and Bethany having an affair? Which I've said a long time ago. Were they having an affair? Was that the exculpatory evidence? Does she know that JD was the one? Exactly, Coco. Same here. If not years, right? There's Bubbly's. I'm sure everybody's subscribed to her. If not, go subscribe to Bubbly. But that's who it looks like to me. That's definitely Bethany, and that sure looks like Jack D to me. Let's keep going.
It really looks like him, in my opinion. Oh, look at that one. Oh, you guys. I'm gonna sneeze. Okay, now that angle's really weird because that looks like a total biker right now. But he did have facial hair. This could just be the way it's tipped down because all the rest of them look just like him. But that definitely looks like an older person. Freaky.
Looks like he's got a mask on. But to me, it looks like JD.
Wonder what that is up there. You know, like I said again, you'd think they'd be able to take a halfway decent photograph or, I mean, video with all the technology these guys have. Look at how horrible they are all the time. Terrible. Oh, he just turned around and leave. And as he leaves, I guess you really can't tell, actually. Just turn his back on him, though. That is nuts. Look at that, you guys. Wow.
Now, we've looked at this before, all of this before, but I didn't catch that one snapshot.
Has anybody else noticed this before?
But yeah, there's people over here.
Not the first thing, that's for sure. That looks a lot like him right there. Wow. Oh, man. Okay. I gotta stop freaking on this because me out. There's like a ninja right there. Oh.
Yeah, we don't want to get into
look
too
at
much of the you know, where you can't really see it too well. And then she gets into, you know, if you guys want to go watch the rest of this video, it's a good video. And that's from Bubbly. But to see that one picture, it really looks like right there. And that to me looks like JD. Even this here, right there. Look at that. Right there. That's what it looks like to me. Is it for sure? No, I can't say that. I can't say that's for sure. But it sure looks like him. So we have to look at that. Were they having an affair, or did they plan something? Did Bethany plan something? I mean, we need to look at her a little more closely. We've looked at Dylan so much that, and Bethany's the one with the exculpatory evidence, and that's never came out. And I don't think they ever wanted it to come out. And she didn't even want to testify. She was scared of something, right? She was scared of something. I never heard that about. What about Ethan? Coco? Oh yeah, I'm at 360 right now, criminal. But that's because of my computer. I'm just trying to save space, RAM space or whatever, because I need a new computer really bad. But actually, the videos I show shouldn't be there. I think this right here, that's on the Bubbly video. I think it was the camera that actually took the video. I don't think it has anything to do with mine or hers. But anyway, no, I haven't heard that Bethany's pregnant. I don't know about that one. I mean, I've heard it, but I haven't seen proof of that or anything like that. You're right, criminal. Okay, so anyway, let's move on, and we're going to look at. Okay, we're going to look at this and talk about this a little bit. So there's those three. Okay. I'm going to load this up. Okay, and this is from News Nation. Let's not get upset. This is a interview with Steve Gonzalez, and let's not get upset with anything Steve says. Let's remember that family is victims too, and I truly believe Steve wants to get to the bottom of this. So let's take a look at this. You know, it'd be easy to get confused in this case, especially when you have a prosecution the way they are behaving. Okay, so here we go. And this is from 13 hours ago. Okay. It's fairly new.
That's not anything that we were interested in. And we've been worried that we would see those leaked at any time when you had like certain stories and certain things been leaked since the very beginning. We were afraid that we'd wake up one morning and that may be on, might be on TV.
Yeah, Steve, I know there are people out there who want full transparency. They want to get every single aspect of this case. I do not see the value of that. I think that this is painful. It's gratuitous. It's disgusting. But for the people out there who want full transparency about this and say, I don't even know what the argument would be to see that. What would your response to them be?
You don't get that. Those are our children, and we're not settling for that type of thing. And I think it encourages. I mean, you got a whole show here with some people that are doing.
Actually, it's in the documents that Kaylee was moving in with another dude in Texas, and that's in the documents. And so is a couple of her guys that she was seeing. And one was, I can't remember who it was who was saying this, said that she was seeing this dude, and it was like a, how do you fuck buddy? It's, you know what I'm saying? And then there was one other guy. So she was doing her thing. No, it wasn't Jordan. It wasn't Jordan that she was moving in with. That was said way back. I know Jordan's the girl. Okay, here we go.
Terrible things to people, and that's one thing that I think we show a little bit too much of, and I hope that we can give these kids some dignity, and we don't have to go there.
Is there anything else in the current batch of documents that you plan to fight the release of?
No, they asked us about the toxicology report after we got that. We said we didn't care. The autopsies, some others wanted to keep that, and I understand that.
And here's another thing. The toxicology report that came, oh, you mean the one that came back and said there was no drugs in their system? When we already heard once that there was one with opiates a long time ago, and then there's a blue powder on the dresser with a rolled up dollar bill. And there's nothing in the toxicology. Give me a fucking break.
That has it has like a injury by injury write-ups, so it's pretty gruesome. So those are the ones that we were. I think that'll be the last one that we really will try to keep close to the chest.
And it's good to know that, as you said, that the families seem to be on the same page with this. I mean, there is this argument right out there, putting aside crime scene photos. The public wants to know as much as possible about why these children were killed. And the question becomes, do you think the public has a right to know all the details of the case? Again, putting aside the crime scene photos, do you think the public has a right to know all of this?
I think the public should demand that 100%. Sometimes the courtroom doesn't realize that there is no courtroom without victims, and they need to represent them people and the community. The community has the right to know that they're arresting the right people, and the punishment is correct. And I think that the prosecution.
If I'm wrong on the her moving in with a guy from Texas, and it was just Jordan, then I'm sorry, but I've heard that she was moving in with a dude and not Jordan. So I don't know what to believe on that. But if I'm wrong on that, I'm sorry. I'm going with what I heard. So
You should hear purposely hid the facts of what happened to these kids to try to get all the parents to be in silos and not unite and force them to do the right thing, force them to have, a capital case. They never had that. That's why they didn't tell the kids what really happened to our kids. They hid that from us because they knew that could be a riling cry for all the parents to get on the same page.
And I want to talk about that in a minute, and as well as Bill Thompson and current statements he's making. But, Steve, when I look at you,
yeah, there's actually a statement on the dude from Texas. Yeah.
Interview victims' family members all the time. And you think about what they have to go through when the crime first happens, what they have to go through when there is a trial, what they have to go through the grieving process for the rest of their lives. But you're in this unfortunately unique position where this case has been amplified. And I wonder for you, how difficult is it knowing that you are going to have to deal with these document releases for months, that the story doesn't end with Coberger getting shipped away, that now it's about the release of information and trying to protect your daughter and the other victims? How difficult is it?
James was missing majority of his teeth, but not anymore. He came to Nuvia to get permanent dental.
We have to do it better. They could have easily done better than this. This trickle effect of, the case is over. Let it out. Stand by what your decisions are, and the information come out. I know you have to give a little bit of time for sealing, but it's called control, find, replace. We do it at work all the time. It's not a big deal. We can get through these docs real easy. So yeah, I think they got to do a better job. And this trickle thing's been going on the whole time, and it was torture. It was absolute torture for the families. And they kind of wore us all down, and that's kind of the strategy that we knew that the defense was going to do was to try to.
What kind of prosecution? What kind of prosecution wears down the families of the victims? What kind of prosecution doesn't tell the families what is going on? I mean, it was hiding from day one. From day one. Who talks shit about YouTubers? Oh yeah, Steve, yeah. But he's also talked to a lot of YouTubers also. And I know how he feels, and I don't even blame him. I don't even blame him, because the prosecution treated him like shit, just like they're treating Ann Taylor and everybody else. They're treating the families like shit. Hiding stuff. Just, I mean, yeah, I think there's going to be a lot more to this case. This case, like Coco said, is just, it's like it's starting all over and it's the beginning again.
Push this out, try to make it as far away from our homes, try to make it as inconvenient as possible. And, they had success for that. And in the end, they were rewarded.
Just to clarify something, how has communication been with the prosecutor's office regarding document releases?
Once the plea was in, we haven't heard anything. So, and they basically told us when we wanted to get all the
once the plea was in, they haven't heard anything. Yeah, I wonder that too myself, Debbie. I'm sure he has to be, right? I would think, but it takes a long time to get through all those documents. I can tell you that. I know that for a fact. Well, yeah, but you know what, criminal? He didn't even have the stuff to make that decision or to say those things. He didn't have the stuff. He didn't have the documents. Is that why he's talking the way he is now? And I'll tell you what, if he reads more, he's going to be going, what the fuck? What is up with this shit? I know as a father, I would be. He's been hollering about the way he's been treated by the prosecution since almost day one.
Discovery that we'd have to go through the state and we'd have to go through the federal FOIA request. They weren't going to help us in any way. They did actually help us with one. They did help us with the death certificate. They
helped with the death certificate.
That was given to us on a thumb drive. But other than that, we have to go through the official channels like everyone else. And when you guys are hearing about it, you're hearing about it before we are.
That is disgusting. I'm saying that in my opinion, that is so terrible. And by the way, so we're talking about the prosecution. So Bill Thompson has been speaking out about
Yes, Coco. No one even acknowledged Kaylee. Like at the grub truck. No one acknowledged either one of them. Well, except for number 9. They didn't talk to anybody. Except for when she went up and hugged number 9 when they first got there. And then she turned around and pointed at Showalter. And yes, it's Showalter that she pointed at and said, fuck you, mister. They were trying to get away from him. And then his house, which is just not very far, a block away or whatever, from the house, has blood all over it, and then they lose the blood. They lose the samples. How fucking convenient. How fucking convenient. I wonder how much they got for that, right? Yeah, stone's throw, exactly, Blackhawk. Good to see you, bro.
about the case. what do you make of that? And B, do you agree with this theory that he's put out that Brian Coberger broke into the house before the murders?
Oh, fuck that.
Yeah, we spoke with some FBI profilers, and that's where we kind of came to the conclusion that this person had been looking at this house and had probably tested that backslider and had probably been in that house multiple times, and maybe even like.
But they're going to say that's Coberger, right? They're going to say that's Coberger that did that because he was driving around late at night. When you have JS that lives a stone's throw away, as Doc said, or you have JD a stone's throw away, you have MM a stone's throw away, you have sorority girls. And people might think I'm crazy, but we need to look at these sorority girls. Every one of those people in that house, all 4 of them, quit their frats and sororities. And that's a big no-no in Greek life. But yet, and Taylor can't bring any of that stuff up in court. Nope. Can't do it. Can't do it. Can't do the alternatives. Perpetrators. Nope. Because Hitler doesn't respect women. And Ann Taylor knows that. He has no respect for her or women. And you can tell. You can tell. And like I said at the beginning of this show, there is one area where they could make this appeal work. That's ineffective counsel. And Ann Taylor might have done this, doing Mr. Coberger, who she thinks is 100% innocent, a favor because of Hitler. And what I'm hearing, he's already got a new lawyer. And I'll bet you money it's a man. Because Hitler isn't going to intimidate a man as much. He isn't going to try to intimidate a man as much. Because that's what he was doing to Ann Taylor. He was intimidating her to the max. I couldn't even imagine how she felt trying to present her case to that POS. And that's what I got today. When I heard this, and Twat messaged me saying they blocked her, they sealed her phone rack. I'm going, what the F? Come on. Unbelievable. So what's next? What's next at Mr. Hitler? Hitler, you're a piece of shit, dude. You're a piece of shit. Retire. Retire. You're a piece of shit in my book, man.
You think we both...
Oh, yeah. You gotta love that little guy. Oh, boy. Anyway, I love you all. I love my subs. You, man, you are my rock, and my mods and my producers and my investigators. You are my soul. And until next time, rock and roll.
I wanna hold the hand inside you. I wanna take the breath that's true. I look to you and I see nothing. I look to you to see the truth. You live your life, you go in shadows. You'll come apart and you'll go black. Some kind of night into your darkness. Colors your eyes with what's not there. Fade into you. Strange, you never knew. Fade into you. I think it's strange you never knew. A stranger's light comes on slowly. A stranger's heart without a home. You put your hands into your head. And their smiles cover your heart. Fade into you. Strange, you never knew. Fade
about that?
was away, it was more than 8 seconds. I was introduced and we both started moving. I said I dig you, baby, but I gotta keep on moving. Mary Jane. One more time to kill the pain. Out the summer creeping in, and I'm tired of this town again. Whoa, yeah. Going down, I'm tired of screwing up, and I'm tired of my time. Oh yeah, yeah, oh hell yes. Gotta put on the party dress, buy me a drink, sing me a song, take me to come, cause I won't last long. Last dance with Mary Jane, one more time to kill the pain. I'll be summer creeping in, I'm tired of this town again. Yeah. Square, she's standing in her underwear, looking down from a hotel room. Nightfall will be coming soon. Oh my, oh hell yes. Gotta put on the party dress. It was too cold to cry when I woke up alone.